Amanda here with Create Your Future. Guys, so I've got an exciting video. Everyone, as you pushed out in thoughts transmission, I am going to explain it. I was scrolling away on TikTok, ticky-ticky-tock, love TikTok. Anyway, you know what? I was watching this video and somebody was doing a video on everyone's a mirror of you. And they were talking about how, if somebody shows up and like they're late, then there's something you need to change within you. And I'm like, what? No, why would we even come from the premise of there's something wrong with us? We're gods and we are powerful people. So we're going to get into that because I know, you know what? I know this is true. I'm a neurolinguistic programming practitioner, hypnotherapist, certified life coach, guys. I know my stuff. I know my stuff. I know my stuff. And I'm going to give you a real life examples and, things that you can take to tools that you can take to help prove this for yourself. So guys, just before we dive into it, I actually have 3 affirmation tracks available. One is get rid of your third party, how to manifest your ex back, and how to manifest money. They're on sale right now. Link is in the description. Definitely check them out, as well as my course, How to Create the Relationship You Love, is on sale. It's an amazing course. It's going to help you recreate anybody. It's got a great little workbook. It's the techniques that I use to actually manifest a committed relationship, as well as getting married. And guys, we all know that Andrew put up a lot of resistance throughout my journey of manifesting him, which he is my SP. So and also guys, we do have a free course, how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. It's my course. I wrote the course. So it's very great. It's going to help you to build your mental diet and come up with a list of intentions of what are going to be good for you. And it goes over little things like questioning is a block. Now, I'm not talking about questioning, what is a mental diet, or what has everyone as you pushed out, or how do I do scripting? It's not those questions. It's questioning your relationship status, or questioning, if you're going to manifest this, questioning if you're going to be successful. Any questioning when it comes to the object or the desire you're manifesting is a block. Because, at the end of the day, everyone is you pushed out, and everyone's going to, basically, your thoughts are a broadcasting tower. So we're going to dive into this. So this video is for you if you're looking to manifest anybody, have them change their mind, anything. If you want anything in your life, everything is manifested through everyone as you pushed out, because that is the mechanism of how this works, thought transmission. Okay. So this comes from Neville Goddard's book, Prayer, the Art of Believing. It's chapter 5, I believe, on thought transmission. So he starts to talk about, how basically you're a broadcasting tower and your thoughts are constantly, flowing out to everybody in your reality. Okay. And this is true. It was like just this morning, I was sitting there and I had a tea and I was thinking, oh, I'd like another tea. And all of a sudden Andrew's like, would you like another tea? I was like, oh yeah, get out of my head. Of course I would, and people are constantly picking up on your thoughts, but they think it's their idea. Okay. So there was like a really good success story. So somebody I was working with, they were complaining that their husband never did any dishes, chores, laundry. And I was like, you know what, the more that you complain about it, the more you're going to get of that, because that's what you're focusing on. So the person, we did intentions together. I intend they do this. I intend they do that. I intend they help out around the house. And all of a sudden, it's just changed 100%. The person is now doing things around the house and helping out. And I am so happy because, for them, it was very difficult and very frustrating in the relationship to be the only one cleaning in the house and the other person being lazy. So, you can transform anybody to do anything. It's absolutely, it's absolutely possible. The sky is the limit. So, now, I think there is some misunderstanding there, like out there in the world. Like I was watching this TikTok video and this really wonderful person, and I'm sure she means well. She was basically saying that everyone's a mirror. Okay. So if somebody's disrespecting you, there's something inside of you that you need to change. Okay. So let's not come from that premise. Like, for instance, even the Bible. Okay. So I grew up religious. Okay. Christian, and Catholic and all that. So, and I'm no stranger, and I have nothing wrong with religion at all. So it actually fits in and is explained quite nicely with, law of assumption, law of attraction. So basically, in church, they used to say, look at, the Holy Ghost, you ask God and the Holy Ghost will make it happen for you. Well, that's everyone as you pushed out, when you pray, which is any thought that you have, every thought and intention that you have is a prayer. And then basically everyone in your reality overhears that, your car, everyone around you, they're constantly overhearing this, and they think it's their idea. In your quantum bubble, you're basically, with your assumptions, your thoughts, your beliefs, you are writing the script of what you're going to see in your reality. Okay, so if anyone teaches that, someone reflecting something bad back to you means there's something wrong with you, stop right there, okay? You're perfect, whole, and complete. I don't ever want to hear any single one of you guys turn around and say, oh, well, because Jerry lied to me, there's something wrong with me. No, it's your assumption about Jerry, okay? That's it. There's nothing wrong with you. You are perfect, whole, and complete. Everybody right now declare it. I'm perfect, whole, and complete. Okay, I am good enough the way I am. There's nothing I need to change about me. I can have everything I want right now, just the way I am. I can have Jerry respect me just the way I am right now. Okay, now how are you guys going to go out there and do this to prove it? Because, there's been a lot of misinformation. So I don't just want to tell you this information. I want to give you something tangible to go out there and practice. So one example is, first of all, stop complaining. Okay. Stop complaining. So pick something that you complain about. Okay. So for instance, in the success story of the person I helped, the client, they complained that their husband was lazy and never did anything around the house. Okay. So if that's what you want to change, stop complaining about it and rewrite that intention. Okay. So we're going to say, look at, nope, my husband always does the laundry, the dishes, cleans up after himself. And basically cooks dinner every night and does the dishes and cleans up. Okay, great. Okay. So that every time you go to think about complaining or, you notice they're not doing housework, you're just going to repeat your intention of what you want them to do and add because I'm good enough on there. Okay. So do this with any person in your relationship. Okay. So for example, I wanted to move in with Andrew and he didn't want to move in with me. And I asked him why. And he said, well, he was previously married and he didn't want to get hurt again. And so he had baggage. So what I did for the next 5 days is every time I thought about him, I said, no, I intend Andrew's over his baggage and ready to move in with me because I'm good enough. And it took 5 days and he changed his mind. Okay. So anything, okay, test it on something. Okay. Give yourself at least 2 weeks. Okay. So every time you think of the situation, or every time you're presented with the opposite in your 3D reality, do not react, just take a breath and repeat your intention, okay? When you see that they're just sitting on the couch and they didn't clean up after themselves, just say to yourself, you know what, this is okay, I'm changing it. They are gonna clean up after themselves. They always clean up after themselves because I'm good enough and that's what's gonna happen and that's what's gonna happen now, okay? And sure, in the 3D, grab the plate, clean up, doesn't matter, but do not react to it. Trust knowing that, you know what, it is going to manifest, okay? The other thing that you can do to prove to yourself that this is real is make a little list of manifestations. And this is also going to help you build your belief in yourself as a creator, okay? So it may be, your coworker bringing in pizza or them wearing a certain color shirt one day. So make these things where they're just odd enough that you can't pass it off as coincidence, because if you can pass it off and go, it's a coincidence, you're not doing yourself any favors. The name of this exercise is to do things that are just odd enough that you'll recognize them and get that sort of oh my goodness, I manifested this. Okay. If you can basically say, oh, it's not working, that means you've made your list too hard. If you can say, oh, that's a coincidence, you've made your list too easy. Okay. So you want to make your list just kind of oddball enough that the things that show up are weird. For instance, I intend that people offer to buy me coffee, and everybody in my family knows and my friends know I'm a tea drinker. But funny enough, though, when I say that and I intend that, they offer to buy me a coffee. They conveniently forget I'm a tea drinker, right? But for me, I'm oh yeah, you know what? I'm okay, you know what? My mom's offering to buy me a coffee, and geez, my intention came true, right? So what are they? Someone buying you lunch, your mother bringing over a bag of vegetables, or something being on sale, and don't worry if the things don't happen right away. Check that list daily, add to it daily, just check it, read it through, and you just see as things start showing up. Okay. So, at the end of the day, right, the whole point of everyone as you pushed out is no one's a mirror of what's going on inside of you. Okay. People mirror back your assumptions about them, your beliefs, and your assumptions and your beliefs about either relationships, about them specifically, your beliefs about how people treat you. So, it's not, where it's a mirror and they're mirroring back, like, oh, Johnny lies, so you're a liar somehow. No. You're perfect, whole, and complete. Okay. And the people are only acting out what your assumptions are creating them to be. So one way I like to think about it is in this Elvis song, where the world's a stage and everyone's playing their part. And that's exactly how it is. And you are the writer, the director. Okay. And you're telling the actors where to go and how to get there. Right. So like, for instance, my car, I wanted to manifest, I manifested my car. What happened was I went to the dealership, and I've told this story before. And I said, I want this specific car. And it was COVID. So like the microchips were behind and stuff. And I was like, well, I want this type of car. And he goes, well, you know what? He's like, I got 2 cars coming in. One's white, one's gray. It's not red, and it's not fully loaded. I know that. So your car's not coming, but I'll take your name and number in case it comes. And I was like, okay, no problem. I thought to myself, I'm like, no, one of those cars on that, shipment is mine, and he's mistaken. Right. And so I left it, and I went home. A week later, he calls me and he was like, Amanda, you're not going to believe this. I said, what? He's like, the weirdest thing happened. He's like, the manifest was wrong that they told me, and one of the cars is exactly the one that you want. And he's like, you're skipping the line because there's a wait list for these cars because this is the exact one you want. And come on down and grab it. So and when I got there, he's like, it's the weirdest thing. He's like, how this happened? He was like, I'm just so shocked. This has never happened in my all 20 years of working at this dealership. And I was like, yeah, well, you know what? I'm like, law of assumption, right? I'm like, everyone's being pushed out. My thoughts go back in time and make stuff happen because time's not linear. Oh, this is not linear. Your thoughts can go back and forth in time, no problem, right? So, and when you make a declaration, an intention, an affirmation, a thought about something, everything in your reality is conspiring to make it happen. Okay. Like one theory is, and people, is the hologram theory. Everyone's just a bunch of holograms, right? And you're running the show. I mean, however you want to look at it, the important piece here is that, you know what, your thoughts create, and you are powerful. You're a powerful God. Like Christians say, in religion, you are made in the likeness of God. You have God's powers, right? So you guys are all gods and goddesses, okay, with power. So, being that powerful of a person, never accept any teaching that tells you there's something wrong with you because of the way someone treated you. That is so disempowering information, okay? So guys, right now, the only reason why people show up the way they do is because of your assumptions, whether it's good or bad, okay? And that's not a bad thing. You don't beat yourself up if they show up badly. Oh, well, it was an assumption. May not have been an assumption directly about them. It may have been an assumption about, those type of people in general or whatever. It's funny. When I think about, this whole, the world is a mirror, and if someone's, showing up a certain way, that means there's something wrong with you. Does that mean that I'm not perfect until the entire world is like good? Is that what that theory is teaching? I mean, that sounds terrible. I'd rather just be perfect and a perfect, whole, and complete right now, and good enough for everything that I want right now. Why can't we just be that? Why can't we all just be that? You know what? You want to be a millionaire? Boom. You're good enough right now to have it. You want to be in that relationship? Boom. You're good enough right now to have it. That's it. You're good enough right now to have it. Okay. So how do you do that? Just declare it right now. I'm good enough to have whatever I want. I'm perfect, whole, and complete. Okay. And, and take those 2 little exercises I gave you. Okay. If something that you're complaining about somebody, change it. Okay, change it and just use your new thought every time, and stop that complaint and change it. And anytime you think about the person, think about that new action you want them to have. Okay, and give it time, and it will change. Don't give up. I think all too often we don't persist and give our intentions and our desires enough time and energy. Sometimes I think we're so quick, it's like, oh man, I was intending for 3 days, I give up. Yeah, but you were complaining for like 3 months about it. So what? You're allowed to 3 months is like good for complaining, but if it doesn't shift in 3 days, that's it. We're throwing the towel in. you know, and, you know, sometimes we think we've been working on something for a long time, but we really haven't. You know, for instance, for those of you guys who are stuck manifesting an SP, are you feeling anxious about the situation when you think about them? If you are, then you're not doing your mental diet correctly. If you're doing a mental diet correctly and staying on top of your thoughts, then when you think of your desire and having it, you wouldn't feel anxious. You would feel neutral, if not good about it. Okay, so keep that in mind. Anyways, guys, hope you like the background. I wanted to feel like I was somewhere tropical because it's raining outside today. So anyways, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you. I'm so honored that you guys have me as a part of your journey. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.